It seems like just yesterday that we were playing this game. It's only been a few days. It's just been a little while since we've last got together for some Attack of the Swarm. I think that we, like, in the last episodes in the banter, talked about how we were recording the end, like, of this book, like, with the intent, like, because we had like a session scheduled the next week. So we did the first session, and then we were going to do the session we're doing today the next week. And we had such ambitions and such goals and dreams.
Best laid plans.
Yeah. Here we are, almost 2 years later, I guess a year and a half later. You guys know what's going on, right? Like,
yeah, of course. Totally. I did all my research for the. Is it still biannual if it's every 2 years? That would be twice a year, right?
Yeah. We're pushing for that new release style of by decade. You know, like get you a little. We record every 5 years.
We can measure the time between our sessions in seasons of As the World Turns.
By the time this podcast is done, it's going to be like that movie Boyhood, where we're all like old men.
it's going to be It Part 2.
Yeah, the after years, yeah.
I think
this will be the one that finishes last out of all of it. You know, like we'll have sunsetted both STF and HLP, and when we're in our retirement homes, we'll be like, hey, remember book 6?
Books 1 through 3 are us. Books 4, 5, and 6 are all our kids. Picking up where we left off.
We had to pass the torch at some point.
Yeah, like leave our legacy on to the next generation, you know?
I don't want to play Starfinder 1E. I want to play Starfinder 4th edition.
Yeah.
Sorry,
we're grognards over here.
Yeah, no, we're OSR.
Nephew's the best I can do.
Yeah, that's all right. That'll work, you know.
As long as they're of your lineage, you know, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I guess that means the rest of us got to start popping out some kiddos. Or
I mean, the thing is,
I've got one, but she'll be too
grown.
old. Yeah, she'll be too
old. I'm in Heath's situation. I got a nephew, so I guess that's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah, I've got a couple nieces though. I don't foresee them going down the route of becoming TTRPG players, but you never know.
I'm training one up. I've got a Padawan nephew that, like, I got him on Monster Hunter really hard. He's almost into high rank. Like, he's doing things in the nerd world,
making moves.
Oh,
that's good. That's our insurance policy, Heath. So keep working on that.
He's my backup. Yeah,
listeners, don't worry. Even if we die before this is done, we have our own.
We've got proteges.
We have a game plan on this.
Yeah, I've updated my will to include my succession plan for this game particularly.
Oh man. So yeah, how have you guys been? Like, I mean, you know, it's not like we haven't spoke to each other in a year and a half, but it's certainly been a while since the 5 of us have been on one call. So, you know, let's start with the HLP crew, because I already know how these jokers are doing. How you guys been?
Pretty good, man. I mean, lots happened in a year and a half.
What's going on in the HLP world that in the last year and a half? You know?
New show.
Finished a campaign, started a new campaign, started another new campaign on Patreon.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. Playing a lot of games.
It's been fun though. We've been firing on all cylinders. We always have the like half drunk conversation at 1 a.m. like, man, I think the shows are doing great. They're all so much fun for different reasons. Like, I think everybody's got pretty good vibes about where we are with all of our shows, and they've been fun. I mean, outside of this though, living life, baby. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got married between sessions, I guess.
I entered into my first committed relationship in 6 years.
Wow.
Congratulations to you both.
So we do got kids on the way.
Oh, I wouldn't go that
Baby steps, man. Come
So
on.
I got to be a lot less horny on this show. So sorry, listeners.
Did you close
So
the
you had to
OnlyFans?
cancel your OnlyFans
Yeah.
then, huh?
Well, it's only open to one paying customer now.
right.
It's very exclusive.
Still open for business.
Yeah. I'm making a killing off of it too.
Really had to raise the price
Yeah.
because you know.
What a weird dynamic. Like,
We did.
my girlfriend pays me hundreds of dollars on OnlyFans a month.
I
That's
did
the
have.
only way she can see me naked too. Like I don't get undressed.
I did have a farewell tour, 25-hour live stream.
Oh yeah, the 21 gun salute.
That's
Except it was
right.
all your dick.
That's right. Yeah, 1 gun per hour, and then 4 more hours.
Okay. Well, that's fun.
Well, we also did finish the campaign. We did not do a lengthy OnlyFans stream. We missed that revenue.
Yep. Missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
We'll get him next time.
Yeah, that's it. We still got time.
We guys, as a group, have a lot more guns to do that.
Yeah.
They added a couple guns
Sheer number
too.
of guns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I forgot. Like, I recently was listening to like get kind of caught up with pseudo where we are in this show, and God, the OnlyFans episode was just so much.
It was insane. It was like 25 minutes of riffing on the OnlyFans. We just couldn't get off of it, and then it's like Ivari dies.
It was such a weird tonal shift.
It's brutal.
Like it was tough, and I know that Emily at the time, because we already knew that she, me and her, and I think you guys knew, that she was leaving the show. And I could see the pain in her face. It's like, why am I leaving the show? We just did a 20-minute banter on Steve's OnlyFans. This is my home.
We were trying to bait her back in.
Look at what you're missing out on.
Had to push the horniness to max to really make her regret her decision.
That's how you do it. That is how you do it.
Get him with the I don't want to wait. Starts playing in your head, right?
Before I get into the recap of all that, I think we still do the what are you drinking?
Why
around
not?
The table
Why
thing?
not?
Yeah. It's still part of the show,
It's
right?
been a year and a half since I've done one,
brown.
but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. All right. We'll go for it.
Well, mainly because I just want to see how this goes. Steve, we'll start with you. What are you drinking, man?
Well, Griff, we come to this place for space magic. We come to Hideous Tomfoolery to laugh, to cry, to care. Because we all need that. All of us. That indescribable feeling we get when the swarm begins to close in. And we go somewhere we've never been before, like Elam Chuva. Not just to get written off the show like Ivari, but somehow reborn together. Dazzling combat on a huge foreign planet. Planetary terraforming by the swarm that our PCs can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our heroes feel like the best part of us, and stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here, they are. Hideous Tomfoolery. We make podcasts better. And if this is your first time ever hearing the show, because every episode is somebody's first episode, my name's Steve Strapple. I play Atlas Reiner, the cold-blooded Corsair, on Season 2, Skull and Shackles of the Hideous Laughter podcast. Check us out on that RSS feed. Also play Vec Relby on the Bestow Curse podcast. And if you want to hop behind the paywall and check us out on Patreon, Speak with Plants, awesome show. I play Rock Snotty. And today I'm drinking a black mango loose leaf tea that I made, and I'll be getting into a liquid death soon.
Nice.
Wow. Wow.
Steve,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yep.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Well done.
That was surprisingly touching. I kept waiting for some other shoe to drop, but it was just all good all the way through.
And listeners at home, yes, I am wearing the Nicole Kidman silver and black pantsuit.
And cat ear headphones.
And cat ears.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that too.
that too.
Those I got from my OnlyFans.
Wow, that really took me off kilter for trying to
for
find a
transitions.
segue.
I don't know.
Speaking of awkward transitions,
Yes. Sure. Zach, what are you drinking, man?
man, it's about noonish, so I'm currently drinking it's a juju, which is like a caffeinated powder
You can't
drink
say that,
thing.
dude.
Not that, dude.
Jesus.
But here's the thing: I want to point out how crazy it is that I came to be drinking this, because a month or two ago, Josh, who you'll all know from STF Network, ran across this company who was like essentially giving all of their stock away as if they were going out of business or being absorbed by a larger company or something. And you could order as much of whatever they had as you want for free if you just paid for shipping.
Whoa.
So he ended up buying like 12 tubs and then like 60 something like single serving packs and like 8 shakers of this stuff. And he just paid like $15 shipping. And he thought like, is this actually for real? Like what's going on here? And sure enough, all that shit came to the house. And so we just have so much of this.
And what is it?
It's like a powdered caffeine drink. Like sort of like, I don't know, man. There's a whole bunch.
What flavor
of
is it?
Yeah. Oh, it's like a bomb pop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like red,
Rocket
white,
Pop.
and blue. Rocket Pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that great, but
It's not that good.
it's got 200 milligrams of caffeine, and that's what I need. So
Hell yeah.
Well, speaking of someone that only gets paid because people like shipping. Hey, Adam. What are you drinking, man?
Hey, Griff. I am. It is noonish, so I'm drinking a high noon pineapple flavor. I have it in a glass because I'm sophisticated. Not really that reason. It's because I got a tall boy of high noons. I don't know if you guys have seen the tall boys of high noons, but they have this weird tap on it. Like it's not a normal, like just little pop top. It has this device on it, and I hate drinking out of it because it feels weird on my mouth. So I poured it into a glass. But yeah, I'm drinking just a nice, refreshing pineapple high noon. And that is, I might go to wine later today if I get through this quickly.
Yeah.
Historically, your choice of drinking containers has been nothing if not sophisticated.
Yeah, I would expect someone that drinks out of bowls to get bothered when there's any sort of strange tab.
Any
They have to
resistance
drink any
whatsoever.
resistance.
Yeah.
Even a small enough rim is too much resistance.
I have to have a large rim.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I put that on a silver platter for you, Griffin. You just got to take it and own it.
I know, but now it's like a 50-50 whether I give that to Heath or myself. I'll take it. Speaking of someone with a huge rim, hey, it's me. Hey, it's me,
Feel good
Griff.
about it.
I'm gonna own it.
There you go. I'm proud of you.
I'm drinking a LaCroix, and I have the same strategy that Steve and I made a pact on before, which was that we were only going to drink on the second episode of this.
yeah.
So we have to make it to 2, I think.
Okay.
I think was the strategy.
That was
Otherwise,
the
we're just
deal,
gonna
yeah.
go to the bathroom at some point and get a drink.
Mm-hmm.
So drinking a LaCroix, and it's weird to hop back into these with this is something I
Mature
did
lifestyle.
in HLP. It takes me way back. But I'm glad we get to finally finish this book out because this has been a blast of an adventure so far.
Yeah.
Speaking of someone I'd like to blast, hey, Heath,
There it is.
what are you drinking, buddy?
Get him in his big old rim.
Okay. I'm just drinking some morning blend coffee.
Nice.
I have unfortunately had to swear off beers in general since my I've formally become an old man. I got diagnosed with gout. So
Really?
Oh,
the worst trigger in the world and most consistent is beer. So not likely to see any tall boy bush over here, unfortunately.
How do you like know to go to the doctor for that?
Excruciating pain.
Is it just like, is it foot pain? Is that what gout is?
It can affect any of your joints.
Okay.
It's usually extremities, right? Like
The most common is like your big toe where it meets your foot. Mine's never been that. It was always my ankle, but recently it was my hand, and that sucked. It was like around my thumb and wrist. So, not fun, but I got prescriptions and stuff for it. I just have to like not drink beer.
Is it beer specifically? Like, can you drink wine and spirits?
None of them are great for it, but beer is like 10 times worse than anything else on the planet for it because it's really high in purines and yeast. Yeah. So,
I was going to say, I think like alcohol itself is somewhat inflammatory.
Yeah, but beer's far worse. Like if it's kind of, there's been sort of outdated thinking on the condition for a long time where like the cause of it is high purines that cause uric acid crystals to build up in your joints. So for a long time it was like, okay, well you just can't eat or drink anything that's good anymore. And really it's much more about moderation, like just tracking things that are high or moderate in purines and not eating them and drinking them a lot. And beer is like the worst.
It sounds like we're getting pretty close to aging out of the show ourselves, so we got to get our proteges caught up pretty quickly.
I told you, I'm training mine up.
Insurance policy ready.
Back to Griff's point about this adventure. It is a fun adventure, and we've all been wanting to play this. It's just life and all of our other stuff has gotten in the way. And I know that we're all excited to get back, close up book 3, and in preparation for book 4, which we're going to do on Twitch. But it has been a while, so I do want to kind of give you guys a little bit of brief overview of what the situation is, right? The Swarm attacked Susquehanna, the main planet of the Susquehanna universe, or star system, rather. And you guys were on the planet when that happened. It was a harrowing escape that you guys managed to succeed at. You scooped up a Shiran priest of Hylax who was holding down a temple of Hylax, and the swarm seemed to be drawn to. But you got off planet. As you got off planet, you saw this swarm component that nobody's ever seen before. It was giant. It was this giant, like multi-headed, almost hydra-looking swarm that emerged over the top of the swarm. We're talking like skyscraper level height here that you saw on your way out on the ship. And on the ship, you guys managed to rally a small group of survivors that didn't make the initial escape ships, and so you rounded up a few extra people and got them to another planet that I can't remember right now. But
is that one Eutranius?
Yeah, Eutranius. And there you guys helped them restore some civil order because there was some tension being brewed by a cult that wanted to embrace the swarm. That turned out to be a big nothing burger. You wiped that out, dealt with that. Meanwhile, the priest, Zalonin, was doing some research, particularly after you guys found a cave system underneath the surface of Eutranius that had the history of the Shiran's exodus from the swarm, and got a lot of interesting history there and relayed that to Zalonin, who then talked about the Forever Reliquary, which is a mythological artifact of Hylax, right? And nobody believed that it was actually real, but now they're starting to believe that it is. So they sent you to Yulanchuva, which is this planet that the swarm has already attacked and completely decimated, stripped of all of its resources. But in a strange turn, the swarm has remained there. Usually they wipe out a planet, take their resources, and move on to the next planet, but they've left some swarm there. Turns out they're looking for the same thing you're looking for, which is a professor's research that was researching the Forever Reliquary. And you were trying to go to this university to find his research because it might lead you to some answers about what the swarm is trying to do and maybe some more context about what the reliquary is. You had to do a bunch of stuff. You lost Yavari along the way. And you had to make your way across this landscape of destroyed planet. You killed a giant flea. You ended up in the city, made your way through the university, found the professor's office, but he had deleted his files not only from his computer but from his brain. And so you were like, well, we got to hopefully find the backups that are on the server. So you went down into the basement. You found the server room, but there's no power, so you had to go get the power turned on so you could then go to the server and get that data off. And you fought a bunch of swarm that were in the power room, and you defeated them. And that is where we are at now, is right after you defeated the swarm in the power room. Any questions? I mean, that's a pretty general overview. Lots of stuff obviously happened in between, but that's the kind of main thrust narratively of what's going on.
A few housekeeping things. One, I just sent a message in the thing. I think we had a loot drop at the end of the last episode, 7 years ago or whatever.
Well, the batteries have run out on everything in that loot now.
Right, yeah. So it's all
It's over with, man. Hang it up.
There's an engineering toolkit, an industrial welder with a fully charged high-capacity battery, and then a small box with a note reading for emergency use only in Sheeran, which contains a Viridian Balbus Aeon Stone. And then there's some repair supplies that includes 2 cases next to the welder holding a total of 4,000 UPBs.
What does that Aeon Stone do?
I don't know. Let's look it up and find out. It is a Viridian Balbus Aeon Stone. It is... Okay, interesting enough, the Vescarium is the source of Viridian Balbus, although the popular story is that the Vesk liberated the stone's design from Skittermanders during the conquest of Vesk 3. While this Aeon Stone orbits you, your speed increases by 10 feet. So it's a speed enhancement.
speed boost. That's nice.
I probably don't need that, but that's pretty cool.
I would love that.
That's fine with me.
Although I guess that makes my entropy thing harder to charge up.
Yeah, it does, right? Because you have to go that much further.
I have to run that much further. But I mean, I'd almost defer to giving it to one of the backliners so they can get out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll take it if nobody else wants it. I figured it'd be better for somebody who does more significant fighting than I do.
Well,
yeah, I mean, so the only rub, Heath, is that I can charge entropy each fight by moving double my speed.
Right.
But if I add speed to that, then that makes it
a lot further you have to go.
That would mean I'd have to go 80 feet.
Oh, we just have a
Just
good old-fashioned roll
zigzag everywhere you go, man.
Like, to be fair, I could certainly just zigzag around. Like, that's fine. So I'll definitely take it if no one else
run
wants it.
circles around your enemy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the long way home.
Yeah, just take it, I think.
All right.
I think that makes the most sense.
I'll take that. So it's a Viridian
Balbus.
Yeah.
Belbus.
Balbus, yeah. Balbis. And then as far as the industrial welder go, it's an advanced melee weapon. Level 5 weapon that does 2d4 electric and fire. It's not that great. But the big thing you want to take is those 4,000 UPBs. So.
I thought there was some kind of like, I don't know, little like drone or something. But maybe
There
I'm
was a little
misremembering.
drone. I don't know if it was here, but it was.
Well,
I got a little drone at some point.
You have the horse drone.
I know, but that's not what I'm talking about. I remember having a loot drop and talking to Steve, be like, you should get this little drone, and then we'll both have little drone buddies.
Yes, and I wanted to flavor that it looked like the drone that one of the Inquisitors uses in Star Wars Rebels. But I don't remember what kind of a drone it was.
Oh, it's okay. It's a spy drone.
Spy drone. Yes, I have it on my sheet, actually. Spy drone.
Yeah.
Cool, I have a spy drone.
That loot drop should have already been doled out. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 84 years, Adam.
Well, all right. So as we're dividing this shit up, is everyone's health on their sheet up to date? It looks like basically everyone is full except for Vin, who's hurting quite a bit. Is that accurate? Is anybody else?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
accurate.
Well, because it looks like Vin is significantly into his hit points and we have a break in the action, Natasha is going to stroll right up to him. Vinian, I'm going to need you to hold still for 10 full minutes.
Well, what you doing now, love?
Well, she brandishes her... I have this staff of mystic healing. I can use my healing channel, I think it is called, or maybe not. It's healing touch a second time per day. So I'm just going to drain it out of the staff and have my one regular one charged. So I'm going to give you just a flat 30 healing. That's going to spill over into your stamina. And across that 10 minutes, if you wanted to take a resolve point rest to get your stamina back, you'll be full up.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to do that. Okay, so I will gain 20 HP from that.
Of course, Tex, you can also do the same if you want to get your stamina back up.
And then
Yep.
I will spend a resolve. Where is that? Okay. All right, that caps me out. 6 of 8 resolve. And all of my health and stamina.
Beautiful.
I have one more piece of housekeeping
Sure.
because I haven't been able to listen to the most recent episode or two. Did we finish? Remember the board is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember?
Yeah.
Did we complete a chunk of the board last time?
No. So this would be today's sessions will
complete
complete a section. So after these 2 episodes we do today, that will be when we do the board total.
So how many episodes is that board stretch?
Lord,
I've got
I don't
the-
know. It's been maybe 4 years.
I'll tell you what I have on my sheet. The last part break was part 9. But so I have from 40, 41, 42,
Yeah.
43, 44, and 45 that have all been one stretch.
That's correct.
Okay, so
That's
we're going to have a long one.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
big dungeon crawl.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Cool.
All right, that is correct. All right, so you guys are able to get the power back on, right? That takes another 10 minutes of work and an engineering check. So we could just roll that, but I'm pretty sure you guys can clear it, no problem.
I have a plus 16 to engineering.
I mean, you got to roll it. It's not a guarantee, but
Okay, then I will roll it.
if anybody can aid.
Natural 2 on that for an 18.
Oof.
Not your best work.
Just a little rusty, all right?
I'd help you, Vin, but I really don't know anything about machines.
So you try to do that in one of the 6 high ultra capacity batteries that make up the backup generator blows out. So you have 5 more tries to do this, or this adventure stops here. And so,
Okay, well, I
And
mean,
we avoid lineage problems.
yeah.
would anyone like to aid?
I'd love to, but
Yeah,
I can't.
right. I mean, it's not Not whether I want to or
Untrained?
not.
Okay.
Remember, we brought you into this podcast because we couldn't do shit like this.
Understandable. How about a 28?
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Okay.
Which means that you can then salvage the other 4 ultra capacity batteries.
Okay.
So that's good. So let's just, there's going to be a lot of exposition here. So you fire up the power and you go back to the server room and you start digging into that information, right? And, once you get this information and get it to your data units, right? Your data pads, you're probably going to want to wipe this information because you know that this is what the swarm has been trying to find.
Right.
And what you find is you do find Professor Galcheck's research. And so upon examining the retrieved data, you find an extensive, and I mean extensive, detailed reconstruction of the route of the Sharon's exodus from the swarm at the end of the gap, right? So it's pieced together from archaeological evidence and old texts and histories, primary and secondary source documents, and conjecture. Information, so this route was kind of symbolically displayed in those caves that you found on Eutranius. And what you may realize is the swarm's recent attacks have actually been following this path backwards, almost as if the swarm were retracing the Sharon's exodus. The more recent additions to the data collected over the course of about a year before the swarm invaded Ilimchuva focus on the portion of the route prior to the Sharon's arrival in the Susquehanne system. Fragmentary records indicate that by the time they reached Susquehanne, the fleeing Shirans had recently experienced a tremendous transformative event. The goddess Hylax is mentioned frequently and with marked reverence, despite an absence of any religious references in earlier sources. And Professor Galcheck highlights a marked change in the tone of mentions of the swarm. While records prior to 4 AG referred to the swarm in terms and tones bordering on terror and fatalism, records after that time carry less desperation and convey persistent optimism about the Shiran's future as free entities. Accompanying this timeline is a compilation of several dozens of primary and secondary sources mentioning the Forever Reliquary, with dates corresponding to the shift in discussion of Hylax and the Swarm. Galcheck's notes theorize that the Forever Reliquary might hold some kind of relic that sparked a significant change in the Shiran race. This then makes you shift your thoughts that, okay, the Forever Reliquary is not a thing, it's a place. A separate file contains complex astrogational A separate file contains complex astrogational calculations relative to the Susquehanne system, extrapolating a set of coordinates which the professor has marked as a comet known as the Prodigal Stone, the site of the Forever Reliquary, and then conjecture is put in parentheses. In a separate directory accompanying the research itself is a copious collection of grant applications, as Galcheck sought funding to travel to this extrapolated coordinates, verifying the existence of the Forever Reliquary and better understand the nature and significance of the site to the Shiran Exodus.
So am I understanding correctly that the Shiran break away from the swarm, they're just kind of on the run, and when they get to this place, the Forever Reliquary, located on the Prodigal Stone, that is where they had their, it seems, initial contact with Hylax?
Yeah, or at the very least, their overall philosophy was less running from the swarm and more, we are our own people.
Right, they had some kind of religious epiphany.
Mm-hmm. And that Galcheck seems to believe full-heartedly that the Forever Reliquary is real, is a place, and holds a significant artifact of Hylax.
Interesting.
Okay.
Damn, Heath. I'm sorry. Hestia from Live and Let Fly would have loved this.
I know. Well,
R.I.P.
it's so
Hestia.
funny, the 84 years we've taken to do this podcast, like, this podcast spawned Hestia.
Right,
You know,
right.
like, my interest in the highlight stuff was like, I want to do that, you know? So, that does lead to a weird bit of FOMO from my Hestia part of my brain, where it's like, I wish she was here.
But hasn't Tex recently converted to Hylaxian?
Tex Obsidian, I believe.
He keeps getting told
Right,
that
of course.
he's this, you know, there's some kind of connection there, so he's just starting to buy into it.
I mean, Vin is clearly a loyal follower. Of
Yeah,
the
clearly.
Forever Queen.
You're wearing the badge.
He's
I
got
mean,
the rune plates on.
can't
That's
be
all it
denied.
takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be denied.
Get you a cross tattoo, you'll get into heaven.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the information that you can gather, right? Do you guys have any questions? You know, do you want to talk about this a little bit, in character, out of character?
We should probably do it in character.
I mean, so
I like to.
sorry, go ahead.
I like to think that as we're like combing through the data, Sig is not a fast reader, and he's getting to the point where he's like, "Do one of you mind reading aloud? Because I can't make heads or tails of this information. There's too many files. Somebody just give me the highlights while you're talking about it, or while you're reading it. I saved it in a weird folder on my data pad, and I'm having trouble accessing all of it."
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, maybe like Natasi starts like monotone reading like the highlights, and
Yes.
and Sig's just like nodding along.
This Forever Reliquary was some sort of incredible place where the people of the Shirin were able to make contact or have some sort of epiphany concerning their primary deity, Hylax. There could be some incredible artifact there that may help us fight back the swarm, or at least we want to make sure that this god mind doesn't make it there first.
Was there any more information about that prodigal stone? I mean, we just know it's a comet, right?
Are you seeing anything, Vinian? It's not apparent to me exactly where to find it.
Well, there are coordinates.
There are coordinates. Okay.
Oh, so we straight up got an address.
Yeah, love, it's right here on the document. You see, it's just these are the coordinates.
I know.
But
I
don't
know.
comets move?
I know. I was speaking very clearly when I said complex calculations. But what that meant is, yes, you have a set of coordinates that mark the comet.
Okay. I said that sort of in character, but this is also like a me dumb question. Comets move, right? And this would have been a very long time ago. So is that where the comet was, or do we have like a track of where it's going?
Right.
Yeah.
The reality is astrology is much more, you know, or astronomy, not astrology, is much more complicated, like, but by the fact that all these things are moving at thousands of miles an hour.
Right, but it is, you know, this was done by a professor who has done all the complex math to chart what the projected trajectory
Right.
of
He has
this-
like an in real time where it would be.
Yeah, you have like coordinates by year or wherever.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right.
Well,
Cool.
I just very much saw this as this could be like the next piece of this is okay. Now we know where what we're looking for. Now we need to track down a way to find it or whatever.
Who's got survival? Track comet.
had to bring
All right,
in
cool.
another character just to cover survival. So that is all the information that you find on the server. You know,
Do we report this to command or do we just go?
well, you need command to get your ship back. If you remember, your ship was wrecked and that they were fixing your ship for you. And you also...
Yes. And that's a Clade company, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't report to the Clade company. I report to like the Susquehanna Defense Force. That's what I'm a lieutenant. So I guess that's kind of where I was like, do we make people aware of this, or do we just pedal to the metal, get after this thing? And I guess she kicks that to the group.
I don't know. I mean, we're wiping it from the drive here, but having this data puts a huge target on our backs. Do we want to put that target on the SDF as well?
I think the more people who have that information, the more likely the swarm is going to acquire it.
Well, but consider also, worst case scenario, we head off guns a-blazing and we get killed. I mean, this might be what can stop the swarm. It might be a little irresponsible for us to keep this close to the vest, going into danger.
I agree with that, but I think we would have to make it difficult on our own for the swarm to get this data. I don't know if there's a way that we can encrypt it and then give the SDF kind of the code breaking tools to get into the data. Something along those lines, so it's not just another planet goes down because the SDF's there and the swarm wants it.
I mean, yeah, if we could have some kind of decryption and cipher system, that might make it.
I don't know if
worth
that's
doing.
a thing that I can do without using a spell for that. I think there's a spell Technometrics getting. I don't know if there's a computer's check that you can do to encrypt data.
Well, I think that is a good question, but not necessarily one that you have to answer right now. Because if you remember, you are in a city that is kind of surrounded by swarm, right? Like not at the scale that it was on Susquehanna, but there is swarm activity on this planet, and the Clade company is in the forward base, basically holding stuff off for you guys, right? So I think the priority now is to get back to them, let them know that you've gotten what you came here for, and and get them out of danger back into their safety.
Yeah, when we did agree to try to get them to safety, but we also had the issue of we can't fit the whole Clade company on our ship, right? They're like 30 or 40 of them.
Right. So I think what you had mentioned is that you would talk to the SDF to try to
Get them evac.
Yeah, maybe take as many as we can, and then go.
Yeah, we'll take the ones that have been named so far.
Right.
Pick your most important members.
Well, that actually might be counterintuitive, because let's take all of their leadership away and just leave them hung out.
Well, you'd spawn the Clade company anew from leaders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Much like we'll do with our progeny for HTF.
Well, I think we've just entered the most lethal game of capture the flag known to man, and we have the flag.
Right, so let's not dilly-dally any more than we have to, eh?
Well,
I'm starting to get the heebie-jeebies.
Let's head back to our forward base. Get off planet as quickly as possible. Get the word out to the STF. Let's leave.
All right, so you're going to make your way back to the forward base.
I think that's the play, right? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we can't do anything without our ship.
Yeah.
Are we able to? I mean, isn't the whole city surrounded by terraforming bugs and shit?
Well, you took down
The big one.
the one that was in this area, right,
Okay.
of the planet, so that you could access the city.
Right.
But there have also been patrols of swarm, and you haven't eradicated the swarm presence. And this is the hot spot. This is why they're still here, is this city, because they were looking for the same information. Now, you did kill all the ones that were in the university, right, that were actively trying to find it. But yeah, you just, it's still a war zone in that regard, right? It's still a planet that you were just talking about evacuating people from, right? Like, so
Yeah.
you know, there's still danger present. So yeah, you guys make your way back to the forward base with no acid rain or no guards, you know, no patrol swarm. And when you get there, Heskemu, if you remember, that is the cockatar thing, half cockroach. A bolita, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And he greets you, and he kind of is, you can see a look on his face of like, you know, where are we at? What's up? You know, he's like, have you been successful, or are you just coming for a rest before you go in? What's the status?
We definitely found part of what we were looking for, but we were gonna try to go ahead and move forward with checking on how the ship repairs are going, and you know, taking some of you guys with us, go meet with the STF, see if they can get the rest of you off planet.
Oh, that's great news. We have great news as well. In fact, our scouting mission has gone much better than we expected. We have not only been able to compile an updated map of the city, but we have begun planning our next large-scale operation to retake and restore the spaceport here, which will be necessary for large-scale evacuations. Even better, some of our Clade company has begun construction on a hidden anti-aircraft gun within this building, which we also plan to use for future missions. There's been many skirmishes. Yes, there's been many skirmishes between the swarm patrols and our freedom fighters here in the city, though we have been victorious in most. The morale here is strong, and we feel as we might have a leg up on this for the first time in quite a long time. Much of that is in thanks to you and your efforts in taking down that giant bothersome flea on the surface that have been making things difficult for us. So thank you, and I'm glad that your mission is successful as well.
Well, I mean, shoot, seems like a lot's happened since we took off, but that's I mean, it's all good news. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we decided we kind of want to get the ball rolling on this. This is still a active war zone, and if we're going to get you guys to safety, we need to go ahead and step to it.
We are ready for extraction. How go repairs on the Flesh Piper? That was the name of the ship.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, the ship should be good to go. Why don't you join us for an early breakfast? Because at this point, you know, it's in the wee hours, and you must be hungry. I know you're anxious to go, but please break bread with us and let us nourish you before you leave.
All right. You want some
Love
food?
a continental breakfast.
Yes. So do you prefer grubs or caterpillars? What is it that you like to eat?
On second thought, let's just go ahead and get going.
Yeah, you know, I think we don't need to waste all this time, really.
No,
I'll try anything once.
They've got some R2Es, right? They got some stuff that's certainly palatable or edible at least. So you guys are sitting down for a quick bite as they're getting your ship prepared, right? And as dawn breaks, the members of the Clay Company have already moved most of the supplies from the forward base into the nearby sewers for safekeeping, chattering among themselves about the strangely quiet night. The usual pall of clouds above have cleared, and the sun makes a rare appearance in the hazy sky, the light glimmering on lingering puddles of acid. A faint hum underlies the murmur of covert activity, like a far-off air carrier, but as soon as the sound becomes evident, it also begins growing louder. The freedom fighters begin shouting in alarm, scurrying to find cover as the source of the noise comes into view above the ravaged city's skyline. A large swarm vessel making a beeline for the Clade outpost. Within the base, Etchiax begins shouting,
Everyone out! It's heading straight for us!
and finish your drinks, and we'll see you.
Here we go.
The finale approaches.
It is
See you in 2 years.